that these two are related. So that means that this particular user ID can own a laptop ID, where those two things are primary keys, right? So relationships actually connect two or more entities. Usually 99% of the time, they are going to connect two types of entities or two types of tables, but we can also have more if we want to. And specific entities basically participate in a relationship instance. I own this laptop. This customer owns this loan, right? This customer is a customer entity. This loan is a loan entity, right? So this customer with this phone number, this name, this address is a customer entity that has, let's say, phone numbers, username, and address. This is a loan entity, that is loan ID, comma, the loan amount. The borrower would be a relationship set that joins this customer and this loan, and we say that customer and loan participate in the relationship that is borrowed. So the terminology of these things are slightly different and they are new terms, but at the end of the day, they are still doing the same thing that we have been looking at so far, right? They're just in a different terms. Okay. So the entity's role in a relationship is basically not sometimes not that obvious, but you can imagine that the relationship's role for this particular instance, that is connecting a laptop to an owner, would be that who owns what. But sometimes it is not as obvious. So our product's role is that it was purchased. A customer's role is that they did the purchasing. And more often than not, they are quite obvious as to what that role is. Sometimes these are so obvious that they are not specified, but sometimes they are not as clearly obvious, right? Let's see if I have that example. Yeah. So sometimes they are not that obvious. So for example, the employee manager relationship, right? Where a manager is also an employee, but also managing other employees, right? So that relationship can be named as works for, but it is not that obvious as to what the relationships are, right? I mean, so what are the rules? So essentially we can say that this relationship involves two entities. Well, in this scenario, just one entity, right? The employee entity, but it is basically related to itself because the manager is also an employee. So it is related to itself, but you can imagine that basically there are two copies of employee entities that are being related to each other, right? So it essentially involves two entities, both are employee entities, but essentially they have these roles, right? One is an employee role, the other is a managerial role. And in these situations, usually we can say that the first name would be a manager, then we have a worker. The first entity's role is the manager of that worker, the second entity is the worker's entity, but those sort of roles can then be actually assigned if need be. Okay. Now, relationships can also have other attributes, right? So if you remember um, the borrower table, we had for the borrower table, what did we have? So we had loan ID. Let me just move this to that side because it is really bugging me. Yes. So for the borrower table, loan ID and customer ID were primary keys, and that actually related the loan amount and the customer ID. But this amount is basically the descriptive attribute of that relationship set, right? So these are not primary keys. These are some things that actually explain what this relationship is, right? So these are called descriptive attributes. So you can imagine that I own this laptop or you own that laptop is the relation, but we can also have an attribute as, for example, let's say purchase date of that laptop, right? So every relationship instance between two entities, user A, laptop A, user B, laptop B, is related using this owns relation. But every of those relations can have their own purchase dates, right? So user A bought this laptop A in January. User B bought this laptop B in December. These dates are not unique. These everyone can buy the same laptop at the same date and so on, right? So these dates are not unique and these are not primary keys, but these are extra attributes that can be tacked on to your relation that defines the relation a bit more clearly. Okay, so they do not identify the relationship, but they actually are added descriptions for that relationship. So a software defect and an employee can be basically the relationship could be the software defect is assigned to this employee, right? That would be the relation which defect is assigned to which employee to be fixed. But you can imagine that there is a date assigned attribute that also describes what that relationship, something about that relationship. So as you can see that we are already sort of going higher in the abstraction level, right? So these sort of things could have been represented in the relational model as well, but it did not allow us to distinguish between these sort of ideas. Like a relationship is a different thing compared to two entities, uh, two because at the end of the day everything is going to be represented by tables, right? But here it distinguishes between those things where a borrower is basically a relationship set compared to an account and a loan. A borrower is essentially something that combines those two tables together and sort of like a foreign key constraint, but we can do those things and write up those things in a relational model, but it is not that obvious. And even relational model doesn't allow you to write foreign keys either, right? Okay. So, um, so specific relationships are identified by their participating entities. Entities in an entity set must be uniquely identifiable because that's a set. And for some entities in capital A, one entity in capital A, lowercase a, one entity in capital B as lowercase b can have one relationship, right? So basically that means that I can own a laptop, but I cannot have multiple entries in the relationship table that says that I can own this laptop, I can own this laptop again. So user A owns laptop A, user A owns laptop A, user A owns laptop A. For both of, if both of those two things are the same, A and B, we cannot have multiple entries in the relationship set. That is all that it says, right? Okay. So before we look into an actual diagram, so most relationships in a schema are binary. So by most, I mean about 99% of these relationships are going to be binary, which means that they're always going to connect two entity sets or two entities, right? There can be a possibility where you can have a relationship set that is of degree 3, that is they are connecting 3 entity sets together. I think that assignment 5 requires that you design a ER diagram that usually students end up using a entity relationship of degree 3. But I have never seen someone who uses relationships for 4 tables, right? So basically binary relationship means that I'm connecting 2 tables using a relation. Ternary relation means that I'm connecting 3 tables using a single relation. That could be my, I don't know, account balance, username. So account details would be a table, user details would be another table, and laptops would be another table, right? So though that relationship connects that. So if you think about it, it doesn't really make that much of a sense to connect 3 tables. We can have 2 separate connections going one after the other. That makes more sense. But a complete connection of 3 tables rarely exists. If they do, and a complete connection of 4 tables is usually indicative of bad design. Okay, so how do we represent these relationships, right? So essentially we would have something like this. So we would say that we would have, oh yes, so we would have a diamond that actually represents what that relationship is, and that would basically connect these 2 tables. and that diamond would be the relationship that is owns, right? So that is the relationship that connects these two tables, and that is how you diagrammatically represent the connection. So customer and loan are connected using this borrower relationship, and the relationship set is represented as a diamond. Entity sets are basically those boxes that we talked about, and we can also have relationship descriptive attributes, right? So descriptive attributes are usually represented by a dotted line and then a box on top of it. So you can say that when was the loan um, uh, given. So you can say access date is a date as is a descriptive attribute for this borrower. So you can see that now we are basically visually representing what the relationship is between these two tables, right? We have a customer entity that has these attributes. We have a loan entity that has these attributes. And we are just saying that these two tables are actually joined, or these two tables are actually related using this particular borrower relationship that has this extra attribute of itself as well. So does this diagram make sense? Yes or no? Do we understand this diagram, and can we connect this diagram to our customer table, borrower table, loan table, and so on? Any questions about this diagram? Right. Okay. So, notepad, this one. Yes, but this example does not have a separate loan table, right? This just had two tables, account and borrower. This is the actual table design for our banking database, right? It had a customer table, it had a loan table, it had a separate borrower table that actually connected them, right? Okay. The entity relationship model, again, remember, is not tied to any SQL vendor. Yes, borrower, yes, how? Borrower is the relationship, right? So if we, so where is my SQL page? No, okay, so let me get back to this file. Okay, it's here. So you see that we had an account table, we had a customer table, we had a borrower table, right? And a depositor table. So the depositor table was essentially the customer name and the account number. The borrower table was, I believe, the loan number and the customer name. Oh, right. We had a borrower table, a customer table, and the loan table, right? So we had a customer table that had details of the customer.